I'm really privileged to have been invited to a local roundtable conversation this morning. It's based in Milton Keynes, and the organisation is a non-profit called Protospace. And what they were trying to do was bring together local leaders in tech industry, ideally, to talk about the local landscape of how the industry is looking, how we can attract more talent, how we can nurture local talent as well. But sort of having a conversation around that. I was surrounded by some really significant people from the local community, people from Santander, from the council, from local educational establishments and large organisations as well. So I was in amazing company. I felt a little bit out of my depth, if I'm honest. But it was lovely that I was invited to be part of this conversation, especially with my own opinions and passionate areas around this. So there was a variety of conversations going on. One of the core topics that really took a lot of time up was around creating a hub or an innovation centre in Milton Keynes and become like nationally or internationally recognised as one. Think of Silicon Valley or Silicon Roundabout or Silicon Canals or whatever you want to call them. There are hotspots around the world and the UK that have got a good tech reputation, but Milton Keynes not on that list, despite having some pretty big brand names and organisations in the area and local links such as Bletchley Park. So one of the things that did come up was an organisation called STEMx. Now, this is an initiative to get young people interested in science and technology and engineering. And what they've done is they've partnered with Red Bull Racing to create a whole new curriculum to attract young people into those industries and using their brand as a great hook. Because quite honestly, if I was a kid and they came out to me with race cars and programming around that and actually showed me what I could do, I would want to give that up. But they have got multiple streams to this. There's a lot about mechanical engineering and a lot around the science behind it. Also the software and the coding engineering as well. So they aren't just limiting themselves to, typical software engineering that I'm familiar with, but all variations of it, and hopefully tapping into that passion at such a young age. There was also representation from Hayes, the recruitment organisation. They've been doing a lot of pulse surveys recently. They do an annual survey to get trends of salaries. But what really hit me in the stats was the fact that they identified 57% of their audience will be leaving their jobs this year, or plan to, and it's even higher in tech with 63%. Now, that's not a great number to have. Nearly 2/3 of your tech workforce are planning to leave their job this year. We need to deal with something about this. We need to retain talent, not just attract. We need to retain core talent and understand why they want to leave. They did say 54% of the workforces will leave due to not meeting the expectations as sold to them. So again, are we mis-selling roles, or are we changing the roles, or are we doing stuff within the organisation that's not necessarily reflecting well in the job description or the interview process, or things are shifting as you get into those roles and we're not creating a mindset where you're ready to shift? This is a really interesting topic that I was like, I need to take this away and have a think about. As I say, there was a lot of conversation around establishing Milton Keynes as a tech hub, let's say, and I kind of get what they're getting at, but I did challenge the point a little bit. I said, look, Milton Keynes has got a great opportunity, plenty of connections, great industry, all this sort of good stuff about it, quite a modern city as well. But it's missing two core factors for me. One, decent public transport connections. You've got national public transport, but nothing locally. It's all car dependent and it assumes you are able to drive. So people coming from bigger cities where cars are not available or not even feasible, they're not going to come. The younger demographic might say, I don't want to drive, I might need to car share. And there's that not that sort of culture around Milton Keynes? But I was also like, you want to become an AI hub. You're not talking about the elephant in the room. That AI is expensive and bad for the planet if it's not done well. How can you think about that factor as a hub as well? Could you use that as a unique angle? And, we don't want to set up a nuclear reactor in the area maybe, but what can we do to utilise local eco-friendly energy resources like windmill farms and solar farms and all the other things that are definitely available in the area? Finally, there was a little bit of conversation around establishing a tech week in Milton Keynes. They did one last year. It was very much AI focused, but they've tried to broaden the horizons a little bit this year. and they want to think about how we can have like a festival of tech across the city, bringing in talent, attracting new audiences, but really, again, celebrating what we've got locally and all that good stuff. So this is something that I've always been a big fan of doing, sharing back to the community. But how can we be a little bit different with this? How can we play to the strengths of the city? And what can the organisations do locally as well? I might not be able to sponsor it financially, but I can provide people or my own time to do stuff around this. I was speaking to some people after the conversation about some other local initiatives and non-profit events that are going on, and how hard it is to attract audiences since the height of Twitter and other social media. Everyone's left Twitter/X. They've distributed to other channels and we can't find them anymore. It's difficult to get engagement. So I was thinking of exploring different ways of doing this. Right? How about advertising on podcast platforms or Spotify or those areas where we know geeks are using it, and we can limit the advertising down to a certain geographic, but it's an opportunity to try some alternative channels that we're used to, like socials are very difficult to get right nowadays, depending on the market or demographic you're going after. But I know, for example, a lot of people at my demographic or within tech do listen to podcasts, do watch YouTube, and might be using like Netflix or Prime or anything like that, where advertising is available as well. We have to get more creative though. This is my point. We have to really think about what is possible through our channels. So, plenty food for thought from today, and I need to go and chew it over, quite frankly. I want you to brain dump my thoughts and my analysis and observations from the morning. I'm still hanging out in the local Unity Place. This is like a great co-working space that Santander provide, and I've got all the facilities I want available, including these silent booths to do some work. I'm cracking on with a bit more work this afternoon, and I want to probably consider how we can use the stuff from this morning. How can I apply it to my day job? How can I apply it to all my other initiatives as well, like Petals and other events like that? So if you are interested in this stuff, or you really want to, you've got some good ideas, or you really want to reach out and connect with the Milton Keynes crew, reach out to me direct and I'll make sure we're all looped together. I've already got my contacts and connections from today. I'm overloaded with LinkedIn invites already, and I'm going to be trying to make the most of those connections going forward.